Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sydney Thompson.
I'm Monica Height.
And I'm Chelsea Duff.
And baby, oh baby, it's time for the patrons' voices to be heard. We have our quarterly vote, a little late this year, but pride got in the way, okay? All right, and that takes precedence. They understand, okay? But we are doing a I feel like this is almost everybody's most anticipated horror movie of the year. It did come out a bit ago, so sorry, but now we're having it happen to you right now. We're all obsessed, some would say, with this new movie that's 2025's Obsession, directed by Clive Barker. And I'm going to go right into the IMDb log line. After breaking the mysterious One Wish Willow to win his crush's heart, a hopeless romantic finds himself getting exactly what he asked for, but soon discovers that some desires come at a dark, sinister price. I like that.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
No, that's a good. I wonder if Curry wrote that himself. He does seem very hands-on with the process as a whole.
Super hands-on.
Writer,
Whoa.
director, editor,
yeah. Well, I mean, he comes from a DIY background, you know? This is a tried and true YouTuber that we're dealing with right here, okay? And I love that about him.
Yeah, no, I mean, you've told me before about some of his like other stuff like Milk and Cereal. You've talked to me a little bit about I hadn't really heard of him other than in the context of he had a new film coming out that is highly anticipated. But we're kind of late getting to this movie because you and I actually, Monica and I, rushed to the theater after we recorded our first Pride episode. It was like we ran straight there, and then we've been doing Pride stuff ever since. And this was our first available slot. So it's like been 6 weeks now, but we're finally getting the chance to talk about it. And it was like as soon as we saw it, I got 100,000 million TikToks about this movie of Curry's comedy sketches, him and Cooper collaborating all the time on different little silly goofy things. I've been frankly inundated.
I feel like I see Curry every day. I feel like I know him.
That's my good buddy.
That's my good buddy, Clive Barker.
Native Alabamian Clive Barker.
Native Alabamian, haunts our same LA neighborhoods. We out here.
He's basically the fourth Spooky Tuesday member, quite frankly.
And absolutely. I sense that. Yeah.
And
spiritually, at least. Yeah.
There's like so much that we have here that I feel like the crossover, the like homoerotic subtext to like everything that he makes comedy wise. Like his main joke is that he's gay and he's in love with Cooper. Like 99% of the time is him being like psychosexually obsessed with Cooper. So like something to dive into, I guess, in a minute. But yeah, maybe that's where he got the idea for this movie, because I was doing a little bit of research on this, and like Chelsea was saying, it's just you can't not do research on this movie. Everybody's like, and here's the theory, and here's what happened, and actually the symbolism of this, and blah blah blah, and actually I made TikTok, up a whole bunch of stuff.
I'm the costume designer, and I'm the props director, and I'm this, like, everybody is out here just being like, here's the work that I did on Obsession.
Yeah, because it's a fucking
I would be too.
indie. This is an indie ass movie, and it's really cool to see like young people making a movie and having it do so well. I mean, like this is like the big topic in horror right now, is talking about this movie and talking about Backrooms to Gen Z. Is Curry Gen Z? He's Gen Z. He's 27.
He's like 26.
26.
Cusp.
That's cusp. But yeah, I feel like that's Gen Z. I feel like it's Gen Z. What's the cutoff? I never know.
95?
He's born in 1999, so I feel like
that's way.
You can't really claim being
Definitely
a 90s kid, but I do feel like 2000 is the next official era.
Yeah.
No, millennials end in 95.
Really?
Gen Z is
Oh, I knew
96
that.
through 2010,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Google
So
AI is saying
really, we're really on
1997 to
the
2012, but
we're on
Yeah.
the
right in
tail
there.
end of millennial, which I didn't really
Beginning
think
start of
about.
Gen Z. He's young.
Yeah, so actually it was
I'm considered a
millennial.
peak millennial, guys. So born 1990 babes.
Yeah, you're right
Whoa.
there in the middle of it. But as a person who's so young and born in 1993, as a youthful young person born in 1993, no, I literally work with all like 24-year-olds now. So it's such an interesting experience, and I'm learning more about Gen Z every day, and it's very fun. Um, but anyway, all that to say, like, I don't know. I think that this one is really fun. And it's very interesting to see like the progression of Curry Barker because I didn't realize that I was such a Curry head. And that I had like watched all of his short films already like over a year ago. Um, and one of the reasons why, shout out to one of, who is our listener I used to email with? We have to go to the email. Oh, he was so
The
nice.
ancient text.
I know I only have had one email pen pal. Leo was my OG Facebook pen pal, and now we're on the Patreon, so we've left that mode of transportation, communication behind. But we had this one guy, maybe his name was like Ken or something. Maybe, I don't know. Well, shout out to you, and I'm sorry that I can't remember your name at this time. We haven't talked in 3 years, but I remember our chats, and they mean a lot to me. And the next thing I'm gonna say, you're not gonna like, and so I'm sorry, sir. But this man, he was like giving me horror recommendations, and he was like, "Oh, I've been getting into short films. Like, I really like this one, The Chair, by Curry Barker. You should check it out. Really freaked me out." Um, I watched it back then and I hated it. I was like, well, that wasn't for me. And I watched it again about 30 minutes ago. And I also didn't like it again, but I understand why now because I think just like one of the lead actors is not like the strongest actor in the world, world, and it's a little distracting. And it's also like one of those like whoa crazy Lee Cronin kind of things. Not like it's so grotesque or anything like that. This is a tiny budget kind of movie, but it's kind of like what the fuck horror where like it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. Um which can be frustrating to I think the Spooky Tuesday kind because we really like a well thought out backstory. At least I think that's what I've deduced from us in our time. But quote Curry in an interview that I just watched, he said it was who was that awesome girl with the front bangs who we met at that screening of Bone Lake? Terry, something like that. Chelsea, do you remember that interviewer from Collider who we love?
Oh.
What not
Harry
Teffy, sorry.
Nemiroff.
Carrie. I was close.
Perry with a P.
Perry, that's what it is. I was saying Terry, whatever. Perry did a great interview with him, and she was like, "Oh, so like, is there like a grand philosophy of like what the wish is and how it works?" And he's like, "No." He was like, "I kind of feel like it's not my business to know. Like, it's like I like the theories, and like I just, I'm putting together these ideas that are like provocative or whatever, which I respect, but also that gets into dangerous territory for me sometimes where it's just like we're doing things and doesn't make any sense. But I don't think we necessarily fall into that hole here.
Yeah, I think this kind of avoids a lot of the traps that come along with not having a well constructed lore necessarily because we only see the one wish. So, as
Yeah.
long as the internal logic of how it works in this one story is consistent, and I would say there are some things where it's definitely like they did it that way just to be weird and freaky, but sometimes
Yeah, 100%.
if you have a good enough story, you're like, that's fine. I love style points.
Yeah.
But because we only see the one wish, there's nothing else to really contradict it. He has talked about how he would be interested in doing a sort of like anthology TV show where each
Yes.
episode is a different wish. So I think going forward, he maybe would need to be more careful.
Yeah, he's
But I
gotta beef
also
that
think
shit up.
that, yeah, I also think that he, could be remembering wrong, but I think that he was kind of very willing to let other writers, directors, storytellers come in and have their own interpretation of it for different episodes. So I can kind of buy into the idea that not all wishes are going to work exactly the same. There isn't necessarily an internal structure to the wish, or because he said it's not like a genie thing, even though I noticed this on this watch.
What?
I'd never noticed it on the 3 times that I went to the theater.
She's
But on this
obsessed.
watch, I
Talk
was
about
really
obsession.
talk
Whoa.
about obsessed.
How
I
many
was really
times will we
dialed in
make
this
that joke?
time. Yeah, and when they're at trivia at Barker's pub,
Yeah.
both fun trivia. His dad allegedly, I think I read on IMDb, is the one doing the announcing of the trivia questions. But the trivia
That's
question
cute.
is about the movie Aladdin, which has a genie in it, and
Oh,
it's about
cute.
wishes. So they're like asking you what that you can't hear the whole question. It's a two-parter. You
Yeah.
got to answer both parts. But so he is very much like aware of all the different kind of monkey's paw, genie
Totally.
wish ways to do this. And I think is carefully not like locking himself into any one particular thing other than your wish is taken very literally, so you have to be very careful of the language that you use. And that's like the one rule.
And that's classic. That's classic with this scenario. And I don't know. I think it's so cool that he literally the inspiration for this like it didn't have the wish aspect of it. Like he had this idea of doing a horror movie about the concept of like an obsessive codependent relationship. That was an idea that he had, but he didn't know how to like make it work in an actual film. Like it needed something else. And um he got the inspiration. He remembers the exact moment because he's on in an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. um, and I've seen the clip and it's very funny. He's just himself. Guys should watch his comedy shorts. They're not for everybody, but I do find them charming. But anyway, he's in that episode. He had a bunch of friends over to watch it premiere live, and since it was like showing live just before it played, it happened to be The Simpsons on, and it was Treehouse of Horror. Yeah. And the Treehouse of Horror episode had like I don't know, it's a popcorn, all these different stories. But the one that he saw that day was about the monkey paw, and it was I think Bart gets
Yeah.
a monkey's paw and he makes a wish. I haven't seen that exact Simpsons episode. And he was like, wait, this is it. What if we do like the wish plus my obsession idea and put those together? And that's the way that he makes it happen. And I'm glad he talked a lot about how he created the One Wish Willow box. Um, and I'm really glad that he like created like a different like mode to make the wish than just like falling back on the monkey's paw itself or like he was talking about he was trying to do an amalgamation of like monkey's paw vibes, but the wishbone, you crack a wishbone and you can make a wish, and wishing on a star. So there's stars on the box. Those different types of things. There's one more it escapes me.
He said there was a joke pen from his youth.
It also kind of gives weapons a little bit with the snapping.
I was thinking about weapons a lot earlier. Just because the releases were so similar, where all of a sudden it was like everybody's like, you have to get to the theater. And then everyone is like at the theater so long. You go like 2 weeks later, it's like the theater's still packed.
You heard it here first, people. If you break a stick in your next horror movie, bitches are gonna go fucking nuts. That's
the
what
trap.
it is.
Crazy for broken sticks.
That's the secret. That snapping sound. Oh my god. Very, very exciting. Very powerful. But I also love that he like worked on this with his family like so much. Like his mom and him like collab to design the box and everything because she's a graphic designer. And so they did it together because I love the look of it. I think
Yeah,
I
there's
love the retro look.
Property master Luke Cole has also been one of the people on TikTok who's like talking about everything. And Luke talked about like designing the willow itself as well.
Oh, cool.
And all the different like things that went into it, and the pen, the prop pen or the joke pen, prank pen, whatever, from Curry's childhood. And it looks like a piece of old like cactus. There's like a specific cactus that they're referencing, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, because like the cactus, it's like a cactus skeleton. When a cactus dies, it has that woven shape. So spooky looking.
Yeah, a cactus skeleton. I think that they were talking about.
It is the skeleton.
But that was kind of the thought with the box too, to some degree, is like it kind of had this like matte Scooby-Doo painting aesthetic to it, but they went through a lot of different like shapes of the box design, and then they ended up with something that's sort of like a gemstone, they said. So that it again would seem just like a prank. Sure. Yeah.
Sorry.
Delicious. But just like it looks like a little gag gift that you pick up at like a little funny little store.
Unassuming. Totally.
And it's next to like the voodoo dolls and stuff like that. In The Green Man.
Yes, unassuming and out of time. Like it had that like retro look, but you wanted it to look like you couldn't quite place it. Which works because like, you know, it's been around for forever. Shout out to The Green Man also. I've been there many times. I've been there at their old location. They moved to the new location in Burbank, and it is an awesome store, and that's a real place, and it looks exactly like that in there, and they have like witch classes you can take and stuff. It's a really cool spot. So I just love that they filmed this whole thing in the fucking valley. It's all in fucking Burbank and NoHo, man. Hell yeah. Which like fits the vibe too, because Burbank is such a like retro like aesthetic city. Like they've kept a lot of like the old architecture there, and like the old like neon signs, and like Talleyrand, the great shout out to Talleyrand, great restaurant. They've kept a lot of that old stuff there, and like they have a great like vintage shopping district. So I don't know, I feel like it goes with the vibe of the Willow itself too.
They also have the best dry cleaners, Milton Edie's. Milton Edie, make merch. I beg of you, please. I want a hat.
Why don't they have merch? That's crazy.
I want it so badly.
Logo.
You gotta make your own.
It's pink.
And Castles is
Bring
a real
them a
place.
hat and say, "Can you embroider this for me?"
Circus Liquors? Are you kidding me, my beloved?
Yeah.
I need merch.
Cassell's or Castle's Music, that's a real place too, like in Burbank. I haven't been there, but
I've got so much Bob Big Boy merch.
Oh, it did? Damn. That's too bad. That's really too bad.
It closed, and the bar where they filmed the trivia scene in this movie has closed. But the Green Man still open.
Green Man's still kicking, and I hope business is booming.
I did hear that the house that they filmed the house party scene in, they wanted to do some reshoots, but it unfortunately burned in the fire last year.
I know. I heard that too. It burned to the fucking ground. Isn't that crazy? That's horrible. So sad.
Yeah, that's wild.
But yeah, I think also, sorry to just go back to his previous work just for a second. I was talking shit about the chair. If you like the chair, I get it, and I understand, and I'm sorry that I don't like the chair, but I don't like the chair that much. But I really love the woman's performance in it, and she's fantastic, and so I get that part of it, and that's good. But I really think that where it really shines is Milk and Cereal. I think that you guys might really like it. I don't know if you ever end up watching it, Chelsea. I don't think you have yet, Sydney.
Part of me feels like I have seen it, but it's one of those where like I really think that I saw it.
1 hour long. It's found footage, and the concept is similar. It's funny because again, it's Curry and Cooper, and they are YouTubers that have a prank show. So like a little different than what they actually are in real life. Um, but they're always pranking each other and pranking other people. And they do this one like big elaborate prank, and then through it you start learning that like maybe one of them isn't exactly like who he says he is. It's very fun. It's nothing, it's not some like great piece of like film or whatever. It's not like shot gorgeously or whatever like this movie, and you can say even the chair is shot very well too. Cuz it's found footage, but it's got very great sinister energy and great storytelling. And I think the dialogue improved so much. Like it's cool to see like how his writing changed, because that was another thing I found, that the dialogue was a little stilted for me in the chair. And then it was a lot more natural because it's like vlog style. So I feel like they could probably improv more, or it felt more natural. And then I thought, I mean, he wrote this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought the dialogue in this was great. So
Gorgeous. Yeah, I wrote down
really
so
good.
much dialogue because I was like, this is so well done. Like the back and forth of a lot of it, or the way that they get into these like not traps per se, but these like little circular conversations sometimes.
Yeah.
Like when she comes over in the red dress and is like, I'm not saying you were taking advantage of me. And he's like, I know you were on drugs. And she's like, no, I'm not saying that. You're taking, he's not saying what? You took advantage of me. I don't know. Like that
Yeah.
little exchange. It's just like so tightly done for him to be so like, what is going on? I don't know what's going on. But there's the Curry just has like incredible detail work on this movie.
Yeah.
There's so many really interesting fine details if you have the opportunity to like watch it and really pay attention to everything that's going on. Like I remember seeing it in the theater the first time when he is like searching the internet to be like, does the One Wish Willow actually work? And he finds something on a website called Threaded. And he's like looking through all of the comments, and I remember laughing out loud because for like 5 seconds you get a glimpse of one comment that's like, yes, it works. Oh my god, my mom used to be super ugly and now she's gorgeous. She doesn't even look old. And I paid more attention on this one. And it's interesting. I like really zoned in on some of these comments. One of the usernames is Whispers in the Woods, and that person says, yes, I swear they work. It's the most insane thing I've ever seen. The comment that says, yes, they're really hard to find, but my mom, who has been ugly her entire life, is gorgeous now, is from Berenstein Bear Facts. So Bear Facts is the one weighing in to be like, yes, they
That's
work.
so
Funny little
fun.
comment. And then another one said, no, the whole thing is a joke. Even the number on the back is a prank. I called it and some weird guy answered, which is funny because Curry is the voice on the phone doing customer service. And so he's the weird guy answering.
Our next M. Night Shyamalan, he's got to put himself in a very crucial role in the midst of his film. But like, it was perfect place for him to be because he is so funny.
He's also, I believe, in the scene when they are leaving trivia, and Nikki is like, does anybody have money that I can give to this guy over in the corner? He is, I believe, the homeless guy in the corner. I didn't see that anywhere online, but I swear to God, I saw a clip somebody posted from filming that scene, and he's like over there being like, okay, action.
Wait, I just watched that, but I wasn't looking. I was like trying to, I thought it would be like behind the scenes, like interviews, but it was just like behind the scene clips while I was reading articles. And I heard that part, but I didn't look. Damn
I could be
it.
spreading misinformation, but I remember seeing it and being like, that's crazy.
That's
but I
so
also might
funny.
spread misinformation this episode just for fun. We'll see.
No,
Chelsea loves
not
spreading
again.
misinformation.
No, Chelsea loves spreading misinformation about Curry Barker.
Yeah, specifically.
Well, because it's just a really cool, fun fact that the pub in this movie, Barker's Pub, is named after his father, Clive Barker, writer, director of 1981 Hellraiser.
Okay, we can finally say this. Chelsea, yeah, we can say this. We saved fucking face for Chelsea, but it actually would have been saving face for me because I'm the one who said it on the podcast episode. But I'm saving Chelsea's face because she's the one who spread lies, and then I told them all over town. But Chelsea was like, yeah, did you know that Curry Barker is Clive Barker's son? And I was like, that's crazy. I haven't seen that anywhere. Did I not
And
say
I was
that?
like, everybody knows that. That's
She's like, no,
everywhere.
it's
That's
true.
been
I was
all
like,
of the marketing for this movie.
I was like, I literally haven't seen that anywhere. That's so insane. But I was like, but Chelsea knows, and she's correct. And then I told like a bunch of people. And then I said it on the episode. And then we went through the episode with a fine tooth comb, couldn't find it where I said it. And then I listened again, and then I found it. And I was like, I can't go on the record saying this. I'll kill myself.
Well, because I was just like scrolling on TikTok one day, and then a TikTok popped up of someone being like, I'm Curry Barker's dad, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, that's funny. He also has the last name Barker. He's doing a little joke. And then because I was like, Clive Barker is his dad, and everybody knows that. And then I Googled Curry Barker dad, and it was like Jeff Barker. And I was like, wait. So I had to text everybody and be like, oopsie. And Monica
was so mad.
really mad at me. She's like, I always knew that was wrong. And I was like, well, but you believe me, so.
I did believe you, but I literally was just shocked because I was like, 100%. If he was Clive Barker's son, it would be from the mind of Clive Barker's son. You know what I mean? Like,
and I thought that it
was as a marketing tool. So fucking hard.
They had.
You have a beautiful
Except
mind. You have prolific dreams sometimes.
2 feet, so it's like, you know, he's being like, "This is my project.
He's
out
taking
here
a
on my own
strong stance against nepotism by
I'm
touting
like,
Clive, his puppy, all over
he's like,
town.
I'm doing my own thing, you guys. Well, I really don't know where I got that from. But
maybe it's because they have the same last name, and it is a rare last name, and it's both in horror, so I understand.
A to B. When I was trying to make myself feel less bad after I discovered this truth, I was like, well, his dad is also a writer and a screenwriter and an author, so I must have seen that and jumped to conclusions. And I don't know why I would have ever seen any information about Jeff Barker if Curry's dad wasn't Clive Barker, you know what I mean? But apparently he is a famous playwright, and he did contribute some writing to this movie, because the Hansel Gretel monologue from Nikki's book, yes, that is from Jeff Barker, because he was like, let's give it a slightly distinct, different writing style. I'll ask my dad to contribute that part.
I love that
family touch.
Yeah, the family touch is that my dad wrote the incest part.
Yeah, I love that.
Which, no, it was brilliant.
No,
because it is very disturbing in the content in various different ways, and also because the way it reflected on the character, it's to some degree like Nikki is sort of still in there, or wish Nikki is trying hard to do an impression of the real Nikki, in that she's still writing, but she can no longer write something normal. And what's coming out is like, it says like, a love only a willow could whatever. And she tells Sarah, allegedly, that she only thinks of Bear as a little brother.
Yeah.
And so it's like this love story about them inspired by the willow. It's still like, and you're the brother and I'm the sister.
No, totally. It's really well done and really haunting. I mean, let's dive into like the actual like themes and shit of the movie. I was taken aback this time watching it from the beginning, because the first time we saw it, we didn't watch it from the beginning because we got there late.
Like we said, literally sprinted there from our first Pride recording.
Yeah, we got there late. And it's just the way the cookie crumbled. And we were also in the second row. And so we were inside the movie. I was telling everyone, I was like, I can't see the movie clearly because I was in it. And those were my friends who died. And it really hit me close to home. I haven't sat that close in a while. I don't plan to do it again soon. But I missed that first opening monologue. And I think that is such a powerful opening to this movie, and I thought it was really intriguing that it was not the original intended opening. Curry was like really dead set on having this like shot where like it showed the dead cat and it panned up like from like showing him crying, and then panned to the TV and he's watching a romantic comedy, and it mirrors exactly the very last scene of the film, like that shot where it pans to the TV and whatever. And that would have been really cool. But I think that this, starting with this like passionate monologue that we get from Bear and like painting him at the very beginning and from the onset as the one who's actually obsessed is so moving and so crucial and like really changed the film night and day for me. Not that I didn't like it the first time I watched it, but like you need that, you know, to
Yeah.
really make you understand like the level that Bear's at with this crush on Nikki, and
Yeah.
how far gone he is.
And for the introduction, both to the movie and also for him as a character, to be like, he is in love with this girl to a degree where he is like, you are everything to me. I see you in everything. I can't
Everything.
escape this. You're the only person who was nice to me when I moved here. Like, you're the first friend I had. Like, you are like my comfort person. And I think, you know, the movie still made sense the way that Monica and I watched it the first time. We came in like right after
Right
that,
when the cat
basically.
died.
Yeah, when
Like the
he's
next
like
second.
seeing like the dead cat on the carpet at home. And so you still get the phone call with Nikki later, which is their first actual interaction. So it was like we missed some Bear setup and some Ian setup. And I have some questions about
Correct.
that.
Yeah.
But you get the phone call later, and so it's like you still get the gist of it, where it's like he is desperately sad, but he's like trying to play it cool for her because he like wants to impress her, and she's like, no, you're not coming. So it's like she likes him, but does she like him? Like blah 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 blah. But to go back to the beginning scene, because I feel like Sydney also maybe wanted to talk about this. Ian is like trying to direct this confession. He's the one that's like, okay, try it out. Let's see what you've got. Like that all happens before the scene starts, but we see afterwards that Bear was like, you told me to pour my heart out. Like you called this waitress over to like sit down with us so I could practice. You said to go for it and I went for it. Now you're making fun of me. And Ian is like, well, I couldn't have possibly expected that this was what was going to come out. That this is the way that you would be planning to confess to Nikki. Don't do it that way at all. You need to be like playfully mean to her and tease her, not be so sentimental. She doesn't like that. And I think the question, I have an answer, but the question I'd like to pose to you is, somebody on IMDb suggested that Ian was like sabotaging Bear a little bit with that advice. Do you agree with that, or do you disagree with that?
That was kind of my read the second time watching it and like knowing what was going on, because like honestly, like was Bear's confession intense? Yeah, but like it was heartfelt, it was honest. Like I think like it would have been a good like it. And here's the thing, I think it was probably too good. And Ian was like, "Ooh."
Yeah, I think it's a mixture. I think that it's like both sabotage and protection at the same time, because it's sabotage in the way where there's a secret being kept here and Ian has been fucking Nikki for years, you know. And he has not shared that with Bear. So obviously he knows something that Bear doesn't know. But in the same way, he also knows something else that Bear doesn't know. He knows for sure that Nikki doesn't like him. I think he knows that for sure, and he is like, she's gonna say no to you, and it's gonna break your heart, and it's gonna make our whole friend group like weird. But then I think there could still be, though, also underneath that, a sneaking suspicion of what if she does respond well to this. And so let's just make sure it doesn't ever happen, just in case, because I don't want the good thing I've got going ending either. I don't think it's fully 100% malicious, is what I'm trying to get at.
My take on it is kind of, I actually don't think it is sabotage at all, but I think that this is what works for Ian when Ian flirts with Nikki, is like he teases her, he playfully razzes her. He could probably get away with calling her Freaky Nikki, and it's explicitly because they are only hooking up or only interested in each other for sex,
Sexually, yeah.
as opposed to any kind of romantic or like tender-hearted feelings involved at all. I think she's like, Ian doesn't really respect me necessarily, and that's fine because I just have a dick appointment tonight.
Because I also don't respect him, so
Yeah, I also don't respect him, so it's kind of no sweat off my back. I'm not coming to him for any sort of emotional validation. So I think it's like genuine advice for Ian, but Ian is not able to contextualize it at all. He's like, I flirt with Nikki all the time. This is what I do, and it works. But it works in this specific capacity, which is not what Bear is looking for.
Yeah.
I think
Bear
his advice to
can't
Bear is kind of spot on in that it's like Nikki would not like that confession. Maybe if it built to that in a larger conversation, but if he launched in with that in the same way, he goes, I have something for you. And she goes, ew, no, why does that make me feel weird? And he's like, well, you're not supposed to react like that. Like, I think she would have like a gut felt defensive, you're asking me to be vulnerable in a moment where I haven't built up any tolerance for vulnerability yet, and then he would shut, like, it would be 100% a disgusting dirty little mess if that was the way he tried to lead into a confession. But it's just neither of them are able to have like the full picture of how all the different moving pieces work together.
Yeah. No.
Because I think Ian, he likes having a standing hookup, but I think if he wasn't hooking up with Nikki, again, no sweat off his back, he'd find somebody else to hook up with. It's just that it's very convenient.
I think that Ian is in like a shitty situation because he is privy to information on both sides and he knows this is never gonna work out. That's why he acts the way he acts the whole rest of this fucking movie. Because he's like, Nikki does not like Bear. I know this to be true. So what the fuck do you mean that it's on like Donkey Kong between them instantly? Like that doesn't make sense. That's why he's so suspicious of Bear. Because why else would he be so suspicious of Bear? You know, like sometimes people get together. It's not the craziest thing in the world, but he's like, what did you do to her? You know, kind of that vibe from the front, from the start, which he has no right, not no right, but no reason to think like there's no way he could know that he broke a stick and made a magical wish and made her obsessed with him. You know what I mean?
That
like
would
that's
be my
not
first guess.
in the and that's the glory of magical thinking. And Ian is not a kind of guy who would be doing that. You know, he's that is not something. It takes him 20 minutes to realize he got $1 billion. Like he's not ready for this kind of conversation. And so he's like there must be something fucking sinister afoot because I know that this would never work out. So what do you mean?
Well, I think there is a little room for doubt on the I think Ian believes there's no way Nikki would ever like Bear. But I think the movie asks us a little bit like, is it at all possible? And I've heard some different opinions on it from the people
I agree.
involved.
The movie asked that question for sure, but I think Ian has his own answer.
Yeah.
Keep going, sorry.
But that's my next question is did Nikki like Bear at all romantically before the wish? Like, was there anything there? I know Inde Navarette, who plays Nikki, has like answered this question. And I saw on IMDb trivia an entry that compared it to American Psycho with Willem Dafoe, where Clive Barker had her play different takes differently, like play this one like you do secretly like him, play this one like you don't secretly like him, and then they kind of mishmashed it together to end up with a final cut that is like kind of ambiguous because he said the whole movie is presented from Bear's perspective and Bear doesn't know. He has like this wishful thinking that maybe, but he doesn't know for sure. And so I don't know that the movie is like presenting us with any for sure. I don't think the movie wants us to know for sure. But I did think my only piece of evidence, I mean, we can't necessarily trust anything that Wish Nikki says, but my only piece of evidence maybe that is in the text to support that she does is when she comes over in the red dress and he's like, when did this start? And she's saying, well, it kind of just happened over time. She says it started over Christmas. This movie takes place in July, so that is like 6 months earlier. And then it was like last night I really saw what we could be. And I think it was Curry, who was talking in an interview about how like they do have this very intimate relationship where she says to him like, you're the only person I can talk to about my book, which is this like very serious thing for her. Like she wants to be a writer. She wants to not work at the music store with her friends anymore because she feels like it is like distracting from her ability to do that. And she's not working on a romance, but she is working on a love story. And she says she wants to quit because she's not feeling love in her life, and that could be evidence for the fact that like there's nothing there with Bear. But I also think it's possible that she could have been like sort of nurturing a crush on Bear in the way where it's like you would kind of invent a crush for yourself sometimes when you don't have one, but you kind of want to have one. And it's not that she ever would have done anything about it, but it's kind of like I'm feeding this to kind of get those like juices flowing so I can sort of access that within myself for my writing. But then in the scene in the car, she's like, you would never know if I have a crush on somebody. A guy would never know. So it's like,
Yeah. Well, I think I get where you're coming from. For me, the way that I read it is absolutely she does not have a crush on him. Because I really like part of the reason why this movie is so horrific for me and for anybody, but like just like personal feelings. Like I am a person who has a lot of close relationships with like male friends, and like I've had situations in the past where like someone has like developed feelings, and it's like a very frustrating situation where you trust someone in a certain way and you see them in a certain way and you love them, you do love them, but then you're like, damn, like how do we can't like go back from this knowledge and that sort of a thing. It's frustrating. And so like seeing it from the other side and like seeing Bear just like force her into this situation where she has to be like, fuck yeah, let's ride, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me, like added to the horror for me too, just because like personal experience or whatever. But I think
where a
that
man
like
is just like, no, this is what we're doing. And it's like, I didn't agree to that.
no, it's very frustrating sometimes when you have a intimate relationship with someone who happens to be intimate in just not the physical sense, like
Emotionally.
emotionally intimate relationship with someone, and like the bounds of society deem that men and women cannot be friends, and so he must be in love with you or whatever, that sort of a thing. And it's just like it's maddening sometimes. It's just like, we had a nice thing happening here, we're friends, like come on, like can't it just like can't our relationship have value because it is a friendship? Does it need to have this sexual component for it to be valuable to you? And now I'm getting personal, but anyway, I like that part of it like rang out to me, and so I really don't think that she had feelings for him. I think she just felt safe with him and trusted him, and that I think adds to the horror of this film tenfold, because that was a safe person for her, and then he trapped her inside of herself. It's so scary. And
that's kind of why I was so surprised the first time I saw Inde Navarette talk about it and say like, oh, I think maybe she would have given Bear a chance if he had ever just come out and said anything. And I think that is kind of like an alternate universe version where maybe if they could have ever started completely fresh, she would have been like, that's my good friend. Okay, let's just see how it goes. But I think within the movie that we get, even if she was sort of like nursing this created crush for writing purposes, I don't think she the like actual chemistry between them romantically or sexually was not there in my opinion. And so I think she would not have ever done anything about it because she she says like, oh, Sarah's so obvious. I think he's obviously like very, it's not hidden that he has this giant ass crush. So I think she, even if there would have been some openness to that in another version of their relationship, as it stands, she would have been like, there's no way to even touch this without it being so unbearably intense right from the get-go. There would be no way to just be like, let's see if this
How it
could
goes.
work. It's
The
like
stakes are
either
too
I have to
high.
be in love from day one, or this is gonna blow up this friendship that is important to me.
Right,
Yeah.
because like they wouldn't grow together. He already had these like intense feelings for her,
Yeah.
and so it wouldn't have been reciprocated at equal levels. Like if he was already up here and she was,
Yeah.
you know, down here wheeling, like they would still have this whole gap to
Yeah.
bridge.
Affection gap. Yeah. I think, and I let me know if I'm pivoting too soon. But I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of my friends that aren't usually horror fans. Have like reached out to me about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Or like they see it and they're so taken aback. They're like, "Who's my horror friend, Monica Haidt?" And I'm like, "Let's go, baby, let's talk." And so my friend Jackson reached out to me about this movie. Love him. He's very intellectual guy, great a writer as well. So I always love his takes on things. But we were having a conversation about when Bear becomes a villain, if you deem him that. Some people might not. I've seen some horrific interpretations online that are positive. Like when does Bear cross the line from naivete to sinister? And I'm curious about when you felt that way or if throughout the film.
When he sleeps with her.
Yeah, after he has it confirmed on their dinner date, I think they probably slept together before that, but after he has it confirmed on their dinner date and he knows for sure that the wish is happening, and then it cuts to him like smashing her in that bed where else she lays there like a lifeless doll, not touching him, and then even when she starts to put her arms around him, her face is like blank.
Completely dead.
That is like he knows
so
what he's
horrific.
doing and he doesn't care. So that
Mhm.
is full 100% from then on out. He is the villain. I think with the full knowledge of the movie, you could argue that it starts a little earlier, because I did see one TikTok. I don't know that I would have had this take myself ever. But I did see one TikTok that was like, your cat just died and you use your wish on this girl not to bring your cat back. That's crazy.
That's
And
so
so
funny.
that is not my take, but I think there is an argument to be made about Bear being a bad cat owner, and that kind of being the snowball at the top of the mountain that starts the avalanche.
Mhm.
I think that opens up a lot of other questions I have about the world in general, of like exactly how old are they. Ian says in the opening scene, as promposal 7 years too late, so they're like 24, 25 presumably. I don't
Mhm.
know if any of them went away to college or if they've been like here working at the music store that whole time, sort of. But I got, this is like the sense that I got, maybe I'm just making part of it up, but I got the sense that like something happened with his parents when he was in high school. That's when he moved here and came to live with grandma or Nana or whatever they
Mhm.
call her. That's when he met Nikki. He had his own place because when Nikki comes to his house for the first time, she says, "This is bigger than your old place." So he did have his own adult place at some point living in this area before he moved into Nana's house.
Mhm.
Um, but we know Nana died only like a month or two before, because when he goes on the AI language model, chat GPT, whatever, to ask like, what does Molly look like, it's like his last 7 days of searches are like, how to woo a girl, how to impress a girl, how to flirt with girl. And then it's like July is oxycodone and June is like nursing homes, old people homes. So this is like a very recent thing.
Mhm.
And I think it could be his Nana's cat, and so he doesn't really know how to be a responsible cat owner because he's just started doing it, in which case he's kind of off the hook. Or this is his cat. I wonder if he has kind of been abusing the leftover oxycodone, and that's why it has been left out. I'm not a cat owner, so I don't really know if a cat could conceivably get into a cabinet, get a bottle of pills out, open the bottle of pills like that. Like, presumably they shouldn't be able to
How the
open
cat open
the
a bunch
bottle.
of cans also.
Here's the
Yeah.
thing. I can tell you that my dogs,
Mm-hmm.
Bobby particularly, loves going after medication bottles. Like you
Okay.
cannot, but she's a dog. She
Yeah.
chews. Like she can't open a lid, but she's just gonna chew. Like,
Yeah.
and she'll like get on counters and do it. So I have to be like really careful and all that kind of stuff with her. But like I don't know if my cats have never opened a bottle that's been sealed.
Right. I'm like, if he didn't fully seal the bottle, but he put it in the cabinet, maybe the cat could get into the cabinet. If he just was like, oh,
Yeah.
we'll leave it on the counter, that's high up. And then it's like, cats are like, I can jump, bitch. Like, I don't really, you know what I mean? We don't have enough information to know what happened there, but it is a reasonable conclusion to make that he is completely irresponsible as a pet owner. We see he is not a responsible boyfriend to his enslaved girlfriend. So you can certainly make that connection. I also think like if Sandy was the tie to Nana, who was his like standing familial tie since high school, it's like he just lost Nana, now he's just lost Sandy. He said even before he lost Sandy that like Nikki is everything to me. It adds to this like desperation of
Yeah.
like
I think that makes
I
him
have to have
more.
her. And if Sandy hadn't died that day, maybe things wouldn't have played out the way he did in the car, where it's like, it has to be tonight that I'm saying something because now she's leaving her job, blah, blah, blah. I think it was like everything came together.
One
And so
perfect
you could
storm.
say, yeah, it is perfect storm. I think a lot of that is out of his hands. But you certainly could say if he were a responsible pet owner, we would not have this movie the way that we do.
I think that that's fair. I think that sometimes fucked up bad things happen and
Yeah.
it doesn't have to mean that much, but it also can mean that much. That's fine. I like both interpretations. I wasn't focusing on that as much just cuz I like the idea, not like. I am intrigued by the idea that he's just a fucking simp ass guy and
Yeah.
he came across a magical thing and it's just like what will that, it's like any story, like what will power over somebody do to you, like what are you willing to ignore and that sort of thing. I think that's a more interesting like glance into like humanity and morality with his character. But I do love that context though of him like being in a desperate, it humanizes him more at the front
Mm-hmm.
if he's like just gone through all these different like horrible grief events, and then like he's got like his transfer emotions like
Because she
all
was the one
placed
he
on
talked to on the
Nikki's
phone after
shoulders.
Nana,
I
even
mean,
when they're
look,
just sitting there in silence.
I don't blame him for being like, it's not a sin to be head over heels in love with
Mm-hmm.
Nikki. She, especially the way they paint her at the beginning of this movie, she is enigmatic. She's amazing. She's obviously Inde
She's
Navarette.
giving.
Is that how you say her last
I
name?
think so, but I don't know if I'm just assuming.
She is a stunning, stunning, stunning girl. She's so gorgeous. She's funny. She's smart. She's giving. You see her go out of her way to like uh, give money to Barker, the homeless man. And also like she's also generous. She like pays for the drinks and that sort of a thing. Like, and she seems like she's like a fucking riot. She's a fun time as well, you know. So I get it. I get why he is head over heels in love with her. And just dipping back for a second to the conversation I was having with Jackson, he was arguing. I was like, when do you think he becomes the villain? And he's like, I think he becomes the villain the second he makes the wish and forgoes being brave and speaking his emotions and speaking his truth and instead takes the easy way out. Which I was like, damn, harsh because he didn't know that shit was real. But I can see where he's coming from too, you know, that like he just was like, "Oh, let me make this wish." And then also like he's being selfish too, like that was supposed to be a gift for
Mm-hmm.
Nikki and then
Nikki.
he saves it for himself instead. Um I don't know if that's a damnable thing. Um but
I think you
I
can certainly
keep going.
pinpoint out that as the start of the arc at the very
Yeah,
least.
of course. I think also it's a little, I mean, it's obviously there's gray, wishy washy stuff happening throughout, but like that first night, there's some like dubious stuff
Yeah.
happening too. Just like she's acting really weird. She's acting super strange. Like, is she on drugs? Is she drunk? She's super emotional. Then she's like, he's the sober one, you know, and he's like, she keeps asking things of him that she shouldn't in whatever state that she's in, you know? And he keeps saying yes. And he lies about it. That's another thing.
Yeah.
He lies later
Mhm.
in the movie. He lies to Ian's face. He was like, she asked me to get in bed with her and cuddle her. And Ian's like, well, you didn't, right? Because that would have been fucked up if you did that. And he was like, no, of course not. Yeah, I did.
Mhm. Of course he
He did
did.
2 different times.
Mm-hmm.
He did right away, yes, at first. Then he was like, they made out and she fucking flipped the fucking shit.
Because real
And
Nikki made
then,
an appearance.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you could certainly argue that kiss could also be when he becomes the villain. There's a, like you're saying, enough dubious stuff going on. She's like so clearly glitching out right after he makes the wish, where she's just like standing there taking her really time and then going, yeah, and stuff like that, and then being
And
like,
saying
and
crazy
my
things.
cat
And she's
just
like,
died, and he's like,
I
your
mean,
cat just
your
died, and she's
cat
like,
just
I mean,
said.
yeah, exactly, and then it's like, and oh, my dad's dying. Like the big exaggerated, like there's so clearly something really strange
Mm-hmm.
going on, but he is so willing to be blind to that. If it seems like Nikki has interest, like at first he is kind of resistant to it. He's like, you're being really weird. Like this is
and she's
not
like, oh my god, I'm
Yeah.
so
normal
sorry. I'm
You're
being
for
not
really
you.
acting like
weird.
Nikki.
Yeah, but then as soon as she's like, oh, well, here's this other thing that we can blame it on. I'm inventing a sick dad. He's like, okay, well, yes, I've been falling in love with you since you gave me your read or whatever in
Yeah.
band class. Which I loved that moment in the movie. That is one of the, I think, great, like, she's not into him moments, because it's like this swelling of the romantic music as he's like starting to work towards a confession. He's beginning to say something, and then it's like the music cuts out as she shuts it down, being like, Bear, he didn't like you and he liked me. It's no big deal. And there's a lot of moments like that throughout the movie where it's like the music is building and then it just like silence as it cuts
Mm-hmm.
whatever that tone is to be like, that's not what's happening here. Um, but there's just these moments there where it's like he she he's like, you are being really strange, but as long as there's an excuse and as long as I can tell myself that you like me, I'm okay to move forward, even though like crazy shit is happening. I can ignore all of that because you
I'm
were
getting
there
what
for
I
me when
want.
my grandma died. My crush started for you in high school, but you were there for me when my grandma died. That was really important to me. So if your dad is dying, this is an opportunity for me to be there for you and for you to see me in that light where it's like I can be the supporter for you. Like I can be the person that you need. Um but yeah, I mean,
It's also calculated though. Yeah. I
it
mean,
is, it's wild that they have the kiss, she freaks out. He refuses to get back in bed with her and sleeps at the foot of the bed, but then he Googles it in the middle of the night and enough people are like, yes, it works. And then he's like, I can just like get back in bed with her. Actually, it's chill now. Like, I don't know, girl. I don't think that it is chill.
well, I don't know. I mean, again, I'm like saying condemning him like 20 minutes before this moment we're even talking about right now. But like at the same time, I think that like those Google results
Or
are
silly.
they're so silly. I wouldn't
Yeah.
take it seriously too. He reads that every like I would say like 6 of them say no, and there's like 3 that say yes, and one of them says, "My mom was ugly before, she's gorgeous now." That feels like a
She doesn't
joke.
even
Obviously,
look
it's
old.
true. Obviously, it's true, but like, it sounds like a fucking troll comment, a classic thread up troll comment or whatever it was called, thread it. Not thread up. Thread up is a real thing. Anyway, um, but yeah, I just think, just like bare bones of this story, like I love this movie could have been something so totally different with the concept of like, oh, be careful what you wish for. You wish someone falls in love with you. And we've seen that story 1,000 times of like they become upset. Like there's a Twilight Zone episode with a love potion and like the person becomes like crazy. The woman becomes like crazy and murderous, or the man. I can't remember exactly. It has been truly
The
20 years
Chaser.
since I've seen it. But it's a great episode. And
there's a Tales
it's
from the
so
Crypt episode that's
easy.
similar also.
Yes, I've watched that one, I think. Yeah, I've been watching some Tales of the Crypt lately. I found some bootlegs on YouTube. Oops. Anyway, but I think it's so awesome that it takes a different perspective and has, obviously, like Nikki's doing some murderous, horrible fucking shit, but like they break the cadence. Like the pacing in this is so good. They break the cadence of like her being creepy or whatever with like a moment of like, there's a person in there. Nikki is in there. She's lost in there. Like reality horror to see that like she is the victim. They remind you like right at the nick of time every time, and I think it's so fucking well done. It's just like right when you're like, oh my god, she's being so fucking cringe. Like she just said out loud an incest poem in front of everyone. She just said, I love you more than anyone I've ever loved in the entire world. And I think it's so sad that all of you people here will never experience the depth of emotion that I feel for my bear. And it's like the cringiest thing you've ever seen in your life. And like you're like, oh my god, this is horrific. And then she breaks out and she's fucking terrified. Like I don't know. I think they do such a good job pacing this movie, and it really gets under your skin. I think it's so effective. And for the people who are arguing and saying it's not a horror movie, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no, I think the
It clearly
construction
is a horror movie.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have a lot of traditional jump scares other than the car scene, which is
Good.
like one huge, enormous jump
Yes,
scare.
that
But
was
it is
rough.
so deeply unsettling. But that's why I like it. It's kind of, to me, it's like, yes, it's a horror movie, but we've also argued for like a generous interpretation of the genre a lot of the
Yeah,
times.
we always
But I
do.
know a lot of people, like you were saying, who aren't really into scary movies but have heard so much buzz about this one that they're like, okay, I'm willing to like see what's going
Let me give it a
on.
try.
Yeah, and I was my friend I was talking to today finally saw it over the weekend after weeks and weeks of being like, should I see it? Should I see it? And I was like, yeah, you should go. You should go. And she was like, it wasn't as scary as I thought, which was good. And she'd seen the car scene online somehow. So she was prepped for that, which she was grateful for. But she was like, it's really good and it's just like really unsettling. It's the vibe. Like you're not scared, you're just like deeply, deeply unsettled. Um,
It's just like
but I just
wrong what you're
yeah.
saying.
I mean I don't want to like get stuck on the beginning forever, but it's just so easy because there's so much like meat on everything here.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I just think the way that we get to what the movie is it's well done because they do have he's trying he does the emotional remember in high school this touched my heart and she shuts him down. He tries to be like, okay, I'll do Ian's idea, freaky Nikki, and she's like, why would you say that to me? The only possible explanation I can think of why you would say that to me is because maybe you like me and you're being really weird about it. Is that what's going on here? And he chickens out and he goes, no, we're just really good friends. And then he's so frustrated with himself afterwards that he just like off the cuff is like, I wish she loved me more than anyone in the fucking world,
Yeah.
which is kind of an unfinished wish in many ways because is it like, Do you wish that Nikki loved you more than Nikki loves anyone, including herself? Do you wish that Nikki loved you more than anyone loves anyone, which really broadens the scope? I think there's certainly an argument to be made for the wish, like, gaining more power as time goes on,
It
taking
does.
over more
You
of
can
her as she
see
gets, like,
it.
pushed further and further away, but also just, like, her level of wish Nikki's desperation growing as Bear is, like,
Is
withdrawing
scared.
because
Yeah.
it is scary and disgusting to him, that it's like, oh, you're standing here pissing, shitting yourself, throwing up all day long, waiting for me to come back because you're so all consumed with me at this point that you can't even, like, tend to your bodily functions. You're, like, repressing them while I'm here so you don't have to be without me for a second. And then when I'm gone, you're, like, not in control of yourself enough to be like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. It's like you just stand here waiting for me.
I think that was a good example of them just doing something because it fucks and not because it
Yeah.
makes any sense, because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Mm.
Like, she just pees like immediately.
I think she'd
But
maybe been holding it the whole time he'd been there.
yeah, but why is she vomiting? Like, that doesn't make it. And she's like doing a little.
She
Excuse me,
ate
I
a bug
burped.
slash maybe
Rabbit
has
shit.
a stomach bug.
I
I'm like, did she
love.
eat a bug? Because it was just
I
like the food source that came within her reach.
Was she
I
like a
love.
frog and went like and
I love that.
snatched it?
I love the like weird alien things that she says. Like, I love. I like thinking about, though Curry doesn't have the plan of what it all means, okay, but it's fun to think about, like, what access of to Nikki does this wish Nikki have? And like, she obviously is in her head, but like, it's her first time being in a person maybe, and so she like has this information but doesn't know what it means. My cat died. No, wait, it's your cat. Like a cat died. There certainly is a dead cat around. There's something about that. Um, and it's just so interesting to see it try to be a person, being like, oh, I was trying to be thoughtful, so I brought the cat's body out of the trash
No,
and
you're
made an
supposed to like
ofrenda for it.
it.
No, you're
Yeah.
supposed to like it. I thought that it would be funny if you ate your cat too, because
Blech.
you're
It's something new to try. You want to be a
yeah,
food
you're
critic?
like
Isn't this an exciting
yeah.
opportunity?
And it's so funny too because, like you're saying, like, she obviously gets better, and but no, she doesn't, she just gets worse at it as it goes on because the desperation outweighs the humanity. Like, she needs reciprocation, which is not something that was like parceled in Bear's mind when he was making this wish. Obviously nothing was. He was just saying shit, you know. He was just saying shit and cracking a stick. He had no idea. But like, the way that at the very beginning there's that beautiful montage, their love montage of them just being together, like, she's, doing an okay job of being
But
a
even then, he has to,
person
like,
enough.
turn her back towards the TV and be like, stop staring at me, you're being weird.
But yeah, as it goes on, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's just so well done.
I think there are definitely a lot of moments that are like the scary, unsettling moments in here that are kind of just like Curry's comedy brain going, wouldn't that be weird? Now
Yeah.
she's moving backwards and it's like she's being rewound, and
Her
now
standing
she's
in the corner
yeah.
was so fucking unsettling.
Yeah. I think some of it is just style, and then some of it I think there is more substance to it. Like with her in the corner when she's like, I don't like my
My
dreams.
dreams.
I think that is a really good layer to it.
I think that's really
yes.
I
good, especially
think
with
with
that
the
scene later when she's like, real Nikki
Sleeping.
comes out when she's asleep.
I
I
think
feel
with
like she has to confront the screaming Nikki at night.
or like screaming Nikki has more access to like the sort of shared brain to a degree, or it's like real Nikki's dreams that the wish Nikki who does wish Nikki need to sleep, or just does the body need to sleep and wish Nikki the whole time is like chilling. But I think the trauma coming out in some of those ways is what's happening. Not to get too dark, but like with the pissing herself thing to me, that does make me think of like bedwetting being a sign of sexual abuse, especially
Yeah.
in children. And so I think it is also kind of this moment of like the violation of the body and the body acting out to be like something is going on with me, somebody pay attention. And the way that Bear can come home and discover her like this, obviously he is horrified, but then she's still just like gets dressed and they go to the party.
I will say the duct tape door, when that was revealed, made me laugh out loud. But also,
So
The way you
funny.
see his face first.
if I was dating somebody and they literally duct taped me in because they wanted to, I would like, I don't know if I would come home.
Yeah,
It's a
you have to
testament to how
really.
much he loves her, you know. He does, or he's obsessed with her. That's what it is. That's what we find out through this whole thing, that it's not true love, it's obsession, because love has a not selfless, yeah, selflessness about it. You have to care about the other person to be in love with them. You have to care about their well-being, and there's obvious lack of that at the end of the day here. He cares about what she means to him, and
And
even
how
when she
she makes him
knows
feel.
exactly, even when he knows that she is not actually feeling these things authentically, he's like, can you act normal? Can you act like
Yeah.
Nikki? Can you be like Nikki? He's like wanting her to conform to his idea of her that he is in love with, instead of like
What's
loving the
the
person that
thing?
he's trapped, you know? Like, what's
What's
that?
the thing that he said that was like the nail in the coffin for me with him, where he's just like,
Oh, I
why,
know.
like, what's so
Oh,
wrong
what would be
about,
so
like, what's
bad
so
about
bad
being with
about
me?
me? Oh
Yeah.
my
What's so bad
God.
about being
That's
with
when she's
me?
like,
Yes.
kill
When
me.
she
Oh my
sleeps
God.
Nikki, and she's literally trapped inside of her body. She's asking to
Yeah.
be killed, and that's his response. That's just like he was
I was,
already the villain, and then it's just like demon at that point.
he was
Actually, he's the
irredeemable
demon.
from
Yeah.
that point moving
No,
Uh-huh.
forward.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there are so many moments where it's like, Bear, you stupid idiot, what the fuck are you doing? You need to stop before that point. There are so many times where it feels like he is really the creator of his own destruction, because we're talking about the duct tape scene, but it's like the night before is when they have their dinner date and he realizes that she's lying, she made this up so that she could be with him and the wish is real. He ends that conversation by being like, it doesn't matter to me, and then he goes home and smashes her. And then it's like in the morning, that's when she's scary at night, and she's like, I don't like my dreams. And then in the morning, she's like, I made you lunch, I'm reading this book upside down. And he's like, I'm gonna take this lunch and I'm gonna eat it, even though you were terrifying last night. I know you're under the control of the wish, I see the duct tape all over the door, but I still have full confidence that this lunch is normal, because wouldn't it be so great to have a girlfriend who makes me lunch? I love to have a beautiful girl who lives in my house and makes me meals and fucks me.
So fucked up.
But
It's
honestly,
just
I think that's what a lot of like red pilled internet dudes want nowadays. Like they don't
100%.
want like another actual human person.
Living,
They
breathing
just,
person.
right, like that has their own feelings that they have to be then responsible for and accountable
Mm-hmm.
to and all that kind of stuff. They just want somebody that's going to be there and make them feel good spiritually, emotionally, and physically.
That's why he gets seduced by Sarah so quickly, even though he had literally no interest in Sarah before. Is because he's like, I have Nikki. Nikki is my girlfriend now. This is everything I've ever wanted. But she refuses to just pretend to be normal Nikki about it. She keeps having these freakouts. And now it's like, oh my God, what if I could have a normal relationship with a normal girl? Sarah is presenting herself. She's resting her head on my shoulder. She wants to have this tenderness with me. I'm starting to imagine it now that my dream didn't work out the way that I thought it would. I'm ready to sort of move on. He's such a little bitch.
He's such a little bitch.
I
Oh,
hate
he's
him.
And I
such
love
a
that
little
Curry
bitch.
was committed to that because he said when he was shopping this movie around, that a studio wanted to make it with him and was going to give him $2 million to make it. They made it on. I saw on IMDb trivia something like
750.
750,000. I think
Yeah.
I had seen something previously that was like 600,000, but maybe I just made that up at some point. Um,
I
but
saw
they
750.
offered him $2 million to make the movie if he made Bear a hero and like the not just the protagonist of the story but much more sympathetic, like the victim of this wish. And he was like, no, like that's not what the story is, that's
This
not what the
wouldn't be a
character
good
is.
movie then. Like that's just like I was saying before. We've seen that.
And he said that he did test audiences at point where they kept being like, I think he could be more sympathetic here, he should do something different here. And he's like, no, you guys aren't getting it. I need to like double down on the fact that he is a little stinker.
Yes, well, okay. I one of the interviews I listened to with him today, he said that they did there with Perry. He was talking about reshoots. They did reshoots for this movie. Um, they're trying to disillusion people. Not disillusion people. People think reshoots always mean the movie was shit. Sometimes you just have to
Have a
go
new
back and
take.
do a new thing or add something somewhere, and that's what they did here. Um, he was saying that same thing. They wanted him to make like uh why isn't Bear trying to stop the wish or change the wish earlier, sooner, more often, figuring things out? Like, what about that? Like, why isn't that a thing? And so one of the scenes they went back and added, and let me try to remember this exactly. Um, it was after one of their bad nights together, and Bear is like, Nikki, can you like be normal? It's like the first time he asks her to be normal when she hasn't like done something so fucking crazy yet. She hasn't like pooped her pants or done any of those crazy things yet. And it's the first time he's like, just like, can you not do that again? Like, can you act more normal again? And he like Curry wanted to establish like right from the beginning, like he just wants to keep things the status quo. Status quo. He's not trying to look deeper into this at first at all. He's like, there's weird stuff happening. Let's just try to make it a little less weird so I can believe the fantasy that this is
Mm-hmm.
real. He doesn't want to interrogate it. He wants to believe that this is real. He wants to believe it was real. And he every alarm bell that's going off, he's like, no, 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 shh, shh, put a pillow over it. Like, I'm ignoring it so I can live in this fantasy for a little bit longer.
I think that's the moment where he like literally asks her like, "Can you just be normal or whatever?" And she's like, "How's this?"
Oh, her her
And
facial
he's like,
acting
"No."
that she
And he's
does throughout this movie is stunning and
Yeah.
she's
so
so good.
unsettling.
She's so
When I
good.
saw her
She's
say that
fantastic.
Mia Goth and Pearl was one of her touch points, I was
Yes.
like, that's the smile at the end of Pearl.
Yeah.
100%. That was a huge part of it. And then like the hysterical laughing, crying from Midsummer was another thing.
And when she
That
like
was really
dances getting out
inspiring.
of the car at the hospital.
Yeah.
I was like, that is also Pearl.
Also,
Showboated. She's a
having
star.
rewatched The Chair, he there's
Mhm.
so many times where Curry has somebody hit themselves in the fucking face. Like that is his favorite
Height of
thing.
comedy.
He loves to have people like not what am I trying to say? Mutilate. I almost said immolate. Isn't that light yourself on fire or like light
Yeah.
on fire? Not that. He's not doing that yet. We'll see what's gonna happen in his future films. Um, but he loves a brick and he loves people fucking up their own face.
I heard that scene was supposed to be like a lot longer and
Yeah.
they had to like edit it down so it could get like whatever rating it was.
They wanted to be like 20 more hits. They had it as 20 more hits with the brick. so fucked
And
up.
what's crazy is, I mean, I think maybe the brick they were able to do that. At least the first slam, they kind of only had one go at it. Maybe after that, a couple of, because you like cut to him at one point, and you see him getting like sprayed
Mhm.
with glass and the letter flying at him and stuff like that. But apparently they only had 3 pieces of the like stunt glass for the car window, and it was like one of them broke in transit, and then like one of their shots with it got ruined by some like big styrofoam piece or whatever being visible in the take. And so it was like they only had one take, one sheet of the fake glass left to like nail the take, and they did it. And there were a lot of scenes in this movie seemingly where it's like they kind of got it in one take and then kept it moving because they had so little money. They had to just
Yeah.
like be very light on their feet about it all. They filmed this movie in 20 days. But it's like her stay on the bed. Like apparently that was like they got it in one. When she like
Yeah.
flies back after the first kiss, that was like a one take situation. There were just like a lot of moments like that where it's just like, damn, we got it. Okay, let's move on then.
Yeah. God. Oh, it's so special. Yeah, I think I also just want to give a shout out to like the effective like and sparing use of FX makeup that they use in this on her. Just like the way they placed like the scars and stuff on her face. Very, very haunting. The makeup in general, they did that uncanny valley makeup on her. If you've ever seen any of those trends,
Mm-hmm.
I was planning on doing that today for
That
my
is
makeup,
spooky.
but I want to go to the bar and watch the World Cup after this. And I was like, I am not going to go to the bar with the fucking. That's the makeup where they put the black around your eyes so it makes your like iris pupil thing look bigger. And then like also they contoured her face so her like big smiley frowny looked extra scary and horrific. And then like you block out your eyebrows. It's so gross. And they used it really well here. Um, but yeah, I mean, I feel like we are towards the end here. I think we're ready to talk about it. Are you guys?
Yes, I do want to say I think this Sarah in the car scene is like kind of an interesting point of discussion that I'm seeing pop up online where people have some different opinions about Sarah making a move on Bear. It's kind of like what do we think of her
Ugh.
motivations? I will say I think they did an interesting job of planting early on. This is another one of the like background things. They did an interesting job of planting early on that there is like tension between Nikki and Sarah because when we first see them at trivia night at the pub, like we're primarily focused on like Ian and Bear making faces at each other, silently communicating, I'm going for it. No, don't go for it. But they're in the background being like, can you stop working on your book at work? Like, I'm not working on my book. Like, they're kind of, it's
You're
not like
bickering.
bickering necessarily, but it's like this back and forth. And then they go, I'm just saying it because I love you. And it's like, I know, I love you too, babe. And so it's sort of like there is a friendship there, but it's also kind of like tenuous sometimes. And I think that that becomes more clear as Nikki's behavior publicly gets more and more erratic, especially after the party scene. Even before that, Ian is being like, something's really wrong with Nikki. I'm not checking in on Nikki at all. I'm just telling you, it looks like you're being a weird guy taking advantage of her. And I'm concerned on how that looks for you and how that reflects on me as your friend. Like, that's what I'm expressing concern about more than I'm like, is anybody checking on Nikki? And Sarah is also being like, something is clearly going on with Nikki, but I'm worried about Nikki taking advantage of Bear and like leaning on Bear. And I think you
No,
can
yeah.
excuse some of that from her by being like, she's feeling so burned by the fact that the literal day she was like, I think maybe I'm gonna say something to Bear. Do you think he likes me? Can you see if he likes me? Nikki was like, actually, I'm dating him as of tonight. Um,
Right.
and Sarah the
Oh
next day is like,
yeah.
okay, fuck me, I guess. You heard that I
There.
liked him and you immediately swooped in and decided you had to have him because I liked him. So I can like justify some of that, but it's crazy to me that everybody in this movie is like something really wrong is going on with Nikki, I'm not going to do anything about it, though. That's somebody else's problem. I'm concerned about Bear.
Well, didn't they also think, was it Ian, or that like she was doing this to get back at Ian for something? Like,
That's what they
Well,
both
'cause they
kind
were
of are
hooking up.
saying. Like, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think that I don't think it's right, but I think that they all feel like we are just saying. They all feel slighted by her in different ways. Where she's like, we see that Bear talks to his friends a little bit, but she's not talking to fucking anyone at all. She's dropped off the face of their earth completely and it's just all Bear all the time and just like insulted both of them into different ways. Like we said with Sarah, she said, I have a crush on Bear. And then she's like, well, I'm fucking him. Fuck you. The next day, like in Sarah's eyes. And then for Ian,
Oh, you want him? Suddenly I see him as desirable and I must be the one that has him, not you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that. And then, yeah. And for Ian, it's just like, okay, I thought that we were hooking up. And then, like, you're not going to even say anything. And then now you're hooking up with Bear and you're never talking to me ever again. Like, it's weird. And then she also is acting in a way that is so uncomfortable. And people, like, don't know what to do with like other people's grief a lot of the time too, and she's like going through in their eyes a grief sort of situation, not that her dad
Except for
has
the fact that they're
died.
like, she's lying too. So now it's also like, and
Yeah.
she's making this weird lie.
I don't know, they just like, I don't think they're good friends to Nikki for sure, but they do have some reason to be pissed at her is all I'm saying. But it is
And
a
to go
little
like, whatever, not my problem.
it is weird. It's weird and it's just sad. I think that's maybe a little bit of a plot hole here, that they like, not plot hole, but like gap, like that there's so little care for Nikki when she seemed to have been like the center of the world at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where you're telling a story. In the real world, everybody would have a family. She seems to live with her mom. Presumably her mom at some point would be like, hello, where are you? What's going on? But because it's a movie, there's no time to get into like everybody's full backgrounds. It's just like, here she is.
We don't need the
she lives in that
details.
house. You don't know who lives in that house. Because I think in the beginning, when she comes back out after the wish, she says like, I couldn't be in there for more than 1 second before I just like had to get out because my dad is dying. I think you can, the conclusion I jumped to at least was like, her dad's in the house. And then later Ian is like, her dad who lives in Seattle, super far away. You go like, oh, that's not even like what was going on. He's not even here at all. I think in a TV show, maybe you would have those things fleshed out a little more, but there's just not like space for it here. And so you just kind of get in this situation where they exist in a vacuum.
And that doesn't really bother me because it's part of like the ambiguity of the story and it's just not about that. I don't find that to be a real issue, but yeah, we kind of have to make some leaps. But with the like climax of the film, I really like how there is like this, even though Nikki loves Bear more than anyone else in the world, it doesn't necessarily mean that she's gonna be nice to him towards the end too. It's interesting and I like the way that it goes where like she kills Sarah, it's fucking horrific. And she runs over to Bear and is like, no, baby, no, baby. This is your fault. It's 100% your fault. You did this. And it's all your fault. And you have to help me get out of this now. But we're going to be okay. And I'm going to be with you forever. You know, I think that was so, I love that they made that choice. It's an interesting one. Because yeah, she's been driven like mad with love
in the most healthy, selfless way more than anybody else in the world. Love can be selfish. Love can be toxic.
Yeah, exactly. This is why you need to be very specific when you're making your One Wish Willow. But yeah,
somebody online was like, he could have wished that he could be somebody that Nikki would like. He could have wished to change himself, not her.
Yeah. Okay. Also, okay.
Wishes you need to like. It
write it down.
Affect other people. It should like affect you.
Get a
I wish for $1 billion.
lawyer to
Maybe
look
that's
at it
actually the
before you
perfect
wish it.
wish.
Right?
Yeah, that was a smart one. There's no strings attached.
Although it seemed
maybe.
to come
We don't
out
know
in
yet.
quarters, which I guess could hurt him. It was
it
hailing.
wasn't quarters, it was rolls. It was like,
like rolls of
rolls
money.
of cash. Yeah,
I thought it was in quarters, and I was like,
That'd be
oh,
crazy.
that they would have been killed
I was like,
Drown
there's
him.
going to be a
immediately.
lot of
Mhm.
quarters. What would be your One Wish Willow? Chelsea
Oh
said
my
$1
God.
billion.
I'm just saying it seemed within the scope of the movie that we saw. It seemed like it worked out.
I don't know what mine would be. I would have to have Alex, our podcast lawyer, look at
Yeah.
it before I wished it.
I was
because
gonna
I'm not
say-
trying to get fucked.
We need more information before we can
I'd have to
settle
figure out
for
how I would
sure.
word it, but I want to be able to speak, read, and understand any language, like current,
Mhm.
ancient.
Oh, you were saying that.
and
Yeah,
something,
I remember you
because,
saying that at the mall.
that's something. It's great. Like you could translate. Like you can make money off
Mhm.
of it. Like you could. It's a marketable skill. Know what I mean? Like you could travel around. Like
I thought of mine.
I wonder what the scope of
What?
things are. Because could you be like, I wish I could teleport?
I would wish that I could like breathe underwater. And I could, but I'd have to figure out like how it would work and like,
Yeah, now
like,
I feel like
and
we're in,
like
what's
withstand
You were like, I wish-
pressure.
I wish
And
when
whatever.
I was
Uh-huh.
underwater, I could survive underwater.
Yeah, I wish that.
Do
Yeah,
you turn
exactly.
into a blobfish?
Survive underwater and keep my human form and blah blah. Like there'd have to be so many caveats, but I would love to do that. And also, I could turn it into a money making opportunity because I could be the great fish girl, and we could bring back sideshows, and I could be me. It'd be very
You could
exciting.
go hunt for sunken ships and treasure.
Exactly. I could find something. I could find
You could
giant
lure
squid.
billionaires to their death, Monica, as a siren. The ocean must claim 1 billionaire a year.
That's one thing with the $1 billion wish that
And
I
Chelsea
have
has
been
$1 billion.
talking about with
You're
people,
luring
and I have $1 billion.
Chelsea.
Oh no, danger lurks. But we talked about this a little bit because I saw someone online say that the money would disappear when Ian dies because the wish ends when you die. But then Monica, I think, found a TikTok where Clive Barker said the money wouldn't disappear, and
Yeah.
then we were kind of debating the nature of the wish a little. Like, has the wish come to a natural conclusion when he died because he can't have $1 billion anymore because he's dead, he can't have anything, and so the money doesn't need to disappear. I've talked a little bit about how in a little mini series called The 10th Kingdom, somebody wishes for $1 million at one point. $1 million just like appears before them, but then it like ropes them into a bank heist that just happened where they go, you must have been the one who robbed $1 million from the bank. And so it's like he just dies so soon after that we don't know if there would have been some sort of catch. We only know that Curry has said like there isn't necessarily always a catch. It's just like what you wish
Okay.
for and how you wish it. And Bear's wish is cursed by nature of the fact that it takes away someone's autonomy.
I saw a TikTok that it's something that I
Mhm.
truly believe in. That at the metaphysical shop where he buys the One Wish thing,
The
and
green
when we
man.
first see him, it's a woman thing.
Oh my god, this is
And
what
the
I wanted to
second
bring up
one-
because I heard about this, but I never saw the video. Keep going.
Yeah, and then the second time it's a man, and he's like, I've already had my wish. Like, sometimes the wishes like are fine, and I think that the woman used her wish to become a man, and that's something that I choose to believe in my heart of hearts.
The continuation of trans pride here at Spooky
Pride.
Tuesday.
It's
I
year
saw
round.
that
It's
too,
year round.
and I thought, and I saw that as well. And then I watched the movie again, and I didn't see the video, but I heard just like that soundbite, and I
Mhm.
was like, is there going to be something to make us think that besides they're at the
No.
same store? And I was like, this is dumb because
like
there's
a
no.
little
I thought
bunny.
there would be something like they're wearing the same
Yeah.
necklace or something. I was like, they are completely different ages. I'm gonna wish that I'm a man
Different
who's 30 years old,
demeanors.
like 20 years old, or like 15 years older. Totally different demeanors,
Yeah.
totally different vibes, completely. But okay, that's fine.
I would
Let
wish-
people
I
have it.
choose to
Let
believe,
people have it.
okay? I like the
30,
whimsy
flirty,
in
and
it.
thriving.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah, no,
smart.
they do have completely different demeanors. I think maybe that man wished for a peaceful workplace. But it's just like, and what's the times on that? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't
he
know.
got like 1 day worth. He's like, man, I already used my wish, and now here comes this guy covered in blood shouting at me. It's like, you can't bring that kind of energy in here, man.
Yeah.
But I
I
liked it. He's
thought
like, you could just kill yourselves. Just
I
spitball in
love
here.
that. So fucking funny. But I just think the ending of this movie is like perfectly done. Like obviously the like extreme horror of like the impetus of the last scenes here where he comes back to the house and he sees Sarah's body. She was supposed to have buried it. No, she's stripped it of all of its clothing. She's
She said
dressed
the
her
second that you left, I actually realized, oh my God, well, if you like Sarah, we can just keep her body. Sarah can't have you because you're mine, but we can just keep Sarah's body around like a fuck toy for you the same way that you're using my body.
I think he just
Well,
like also
she's
just
like
left her.
drawn. She's wearing Sarah's dress.
I'll be
She's
Sarah for
drawn
you.
Sarah's
Yeah.
tattoos. Is she wearing Sarah's
Are you like
hair?
Sarah? Let me be.
Because her hair is a little different. Like, did she scalp
Did she
Sarah?
curl it or yeah, that I couldn't tell. It looked good though.
Like, her hair is different. Is she wearing Sarah's hair?
She
I
kind of really
wouldn't put it past
fucked
her.
up the whole head, so it would be kind of hard to scalp. So I don't know, but I wouldn't put it
Just the
past her.
face. She could get the hair.
But it's a horrific idea that she was like, I'm so desperate for you to love me because I love you more than anyone else in the world. So, like, oh, you liked her? Then I'll be her. Let me just change myself to her. Like, when she's sucking down that cigarette and smoking it so weird. Ugh, it's so, it's so good. And I just love, I just love how it all went down like every single second of it, like him like trying to convince her that everything's okay, like calming her down, like the screaming and the banging on the door is so harrowing once he like gets into that bathroom, and like him like bargaining with himself like of how he's gonna kill himself and like the gun and all of that and
When
like
he's like
just
feeling for the trajectory of it.
yes,
Ugh.
and just like the stuff that Nikki sang in the background, like she's starting to like do like bargaining with him or
We can break
whatever.
up.
We
You
can
want to
take
take
a
space?
break.
Let's take some space.
It's so good. And then like I just think it's such a brilliant choice for like him to have made the choice to kill himself. He's eaten all the pills and then he's still who he is. He's a fucking selfish chicken shit bitch. And so he's trying to throw up all those pills because he can't do it. And then snap. I thought
Yeah.
that was so brilliant for her to snap the willow, to wish that he
Mhm.
would be just as in love with her. That brief moment of pure bliss when they're both equally as obsessed with
Like,
each other
looking at each
and they can
other.
have
And they're
their
like
5 seconds of happily
Right.
ever after. It's
And we
hysterical.
know, and we're like, okay, well, maybe he threw up the pills, like maybe like it's gonna be fine. Wrong.
Yeah, no, I think it is it's both a brilliant ending in terms of the fact that he only goes okay, fine, I'll kill myself when it's like Sarah is dead, Ian is dead now too. He's looking around being like, not only have I done this horrible thing to Nikki, and not only can I not live with it in the way that the guy on the phone was like, don't you think you have a moral obligation to just be a good boyfriend to her for the rest of her life then, or the rest of your life? He's
Hmm.
like, not only can I not do that, but now I'm looking around being like, I'm gonna be in a lot of trouble. There is no way to not be in a lot of trouble. I'm just gonna nope out of this situation. I'm just gonna kill myself. And then even when the time comes, he's like, I can't. I'm scared. I don't want to die. And so he's like, let me throw up. The way they do the music cues, again, it's that same kind of thing in those moments where it's like the music is building as he's like doing the gun, and then it cuts when he's like, no, I can't do it. And then it's like he sees the oxycodone, the music starts to swell again, and then he's like, no, I have to throw up. The music cuts. Um, but just the timing of it and the comedy of it is so brilliant, where it's like he's trying to punk out. He really is. He is like once again choosing to be selfish, and the only reason he can't make that choice is because she's over there in the
Yeah,
other room making a choice for
because
him.
she takes the choice away from him, just how he took the choice away from her, And it's not actually Nikki taking that choice away, because Nikki wouldn't do that. The real Nikki wouldn't, but Demon Wish Nikki. And just her performance in that moment, in those moments after he dies, where she switches from like almost this Romeo and Juliet moment where she's about to kill herself too, and then she comes to her senses, that look on her face, the gaping fucking hole in her forehead was just so distracting to, not distracting, but like oh, horrific. Like her face is fucking ruined and her life is ruined. Like how
Mm-hmm.
is she gonna get out of this? There's no getting out of this. She's wearing the clothes of the woman she killed. Like their DNA is horrible, it's everywhere. There's no happy ending for her. And this, like, her blood curdling screams and that song, that theme song of the movie as the camera pans around. I just thought, I love that song. It's just so good. I
Yeah.
think this is so great.
Yeah. There's just so many good details also when you're like scanning the room.
Oh, Nikki's life is just gonna be so fucked because like
She's
there's
going to
multiple
jail.
dead people and just
Yeah.
her and like
There's no happy ending
honestly,
Yeah.
here.
I'm like,
honestly,
could
I would have
there be
rather
a way to spin
died.
it where it's like he did all of this and he made me dress up like her and could he killed her? Like I was like, is there any way? But I just think if
It's such a
CSI has
stretch.
taught me anything, um, the evidence would speak for itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's supposed to die in the original script. And then some studio exec was like, what if she lives? And so they went back and I don't know if he just like re-edited it or if they reshot it, but then he's like, wait, this is actually more bleak. This is actually way more fucked up if she lives. And it has to like bear the weight of the fallout from all of this and face the
I
consequences, not
wake
of
up
her
and
actions, of his actions.
Mm-hmm.
that's
The way she goes, what did you do? Because it's like finally not she we've had these glimpses of her jumping out, but for the most part she doesn't go, you did this to me, bear, although she goes, you wished for this sometimes, but for the most part she just goes, it's not me, I'm not the one doing this. She's just trying to express to them like this is not the real Nikki. And then finally once she's in full possession of her body she can fully realize the weight of the fact that like somebody did this to her. A
Mm-hmm.
friend did this to her.
yeah, no friend. Okay, I think it's time for our
Tegamuntos?
Um,
okay. How
I
could this
just wanted to shout
movie
out one thing that I was starting to say before.
oh
Just the altar that he comes home to in that end is also disgusting. There's like a bottle of Jergens there with the rope around it that I find really unsettling.
yeah, no, that was very horrific.
His like jerk off juice with a little noose on it, something going on there.
Something happening. Well, how could this movie be gayer? Take the men out. We save the. There's no story. And imagine this though with lesbians. It would be fucked up. It would be pretty fucked up still to be so for real.
I saw a TikTok that was like, what if this movie was lesbians? And it's like, I wish she loved me more than anybody. And then they're both just like, yay. This is
Right?
exactly the kind of relationship I like to be in.
Exactly.
You're
And
like,
I also saw
and
someone
nothing's
do
changed.
I saw someone do a sketch that was like, what if Curry and Cooper had a One Wish Willow, and then I was like 100% Curry would like wish for Cooper to be in love with him or something like that. So I'll try and see if I can find both of those and link them. But
I
I said, I've seen
love
1,000 TikToks. So
I love them. I think they're so cute.
they're
Cute
such cute
guy
little
friends.
collaborators.
They're such
Yeah.
cute collaborators, and I love that Curry got his movie and he's got his best friend as the lead role. Like they're collaborators through and through. So gay points for the gorgeous bromance. It's very important.
I
Um,
do think Nikki and Sarah could both be bisexual.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's the other horror of the whole thing. Nikki is a queer woman trapped in love with a fucking man. Gay points though, because the actor who plays Bear is an openly gay man. Yeah, let's
Huzzah.
go. That's good. I forgot his name.
Michael Brownstone? Michael Johnston? Michael Johnston.
Johnston, yeah.
Brownstone, so close.
Brownstone.
Really close, really close. Had
He's
that
cute. I thought he
stomp
was great in
there.
this. Obviously, Indy is is the standout, but
Yeah.
he's fantastic in this too. He's great at being a little bitch, and he also was in Teen Wolf.
Oh,
I don't think I made it that far
love.
in Teen Wolf because I saw Simon, I think, told us that he was in Teen Wolf, and I was like, who is he in that? And I looked it up, and then I was like, I don't recognize this character at all.
Not a movie that I need to make gayer. Honestly, this is a straight story.
Let's
Yeah.
let them have this
Let's
one,
let
maybe. I think
let
that's
sleeping dogs lie.
Don't come over into my territory and tell me this is my behavior.
So I'm not even gonna ask if we have any more gay thoughts. We're cutting them off. There's no
We're
more.
cutting them on. No more.
No more. But Matthew Lillard, a man that should be in this film. I wouldn't take Andy Richter out of this. Of
I know,
course,
I love Andy
but
Richter in it.
by the way,
Yeah.
I talked to him recently. I talked to him at an event like 2 weeks ago, like after this movie had come out. And he was like looking around very confused. And I was like, "Can I help you with anything, Andy?" And he was like, "I can't find my wife." And I was like, "What's she wearing?" And he was like, "Oh my God, there she is. She's talking to the reporters. Jesus Christ." And that was our interaction. And I love him. But Matthew would have been great as the owner. But he also would have been great as the trans man, I guess, at the
Yeah.
shop.
You know where I want to see him?
Tommy Queen.
Right at the beginning, instead of a lady waitress, it's Matthew Lillard as a waiter.
Yeah.
They
I will
panned
say,
him.
what if he is a waitress though? It's just like him but in a wig. Because I liked the illusion where you think for a second that he really is confessing to Nikki, and then they reveal he's just practicing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would love that.
Because it's just like he's in a beautiful wig. Maybe he could be. They didn't have the money for any stunt doubles on this movie, so I saw a clip of Inde Navarette wearing a helmet with a jank ass wig on top of it for when she
Yeah.
smashes the window in the car scene. Maybe he could have been her stunt double there, and we just ignore the fact that she goes from like 5'0" to like 6'4".
I think that there should have been a fifth employee at Cassell's.
It
Who's
should
like
have been
the
Matthew Lillard.
weird older guy who's like a character. Or he could have
Could have
just
been
been
a
a
fun
client.
customer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could have been a customer. Something to
Because
think
there is
about.
one funny little line where Andy Richter is like, Bear, I need you to come play March of the Penguins or whatever on the piano because this 14-year-old jerk off, blah, 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 blah. So maybe he could have been a demanding
Yeah.
customer at one
Yeah.
point. I don't know what
Lots of
the song was.
places
Not
for
March
him.
of the Penguins. Something like that.
March of the Penguins. Oh, great movie.
Moon
Okay,
River.
that
Need you to come play Moon River on the piano for that 14-year-old shit break.
March
I wrote down
of
so
the
much of this movie.
Penguins.
It took me so long to get through it because I wrote down so much of this movie.
That's amazing. Okay, that brings us to Dumb Bitch. And oh my God, who could it be? I just don't know. Who could it be? I don't know. Oh,
I
this
have
is the
no
hardest
idea
one.
who it could be.
Well, I will give an additional nomination to whoever created the One Wish Willow or decided to stalk the One Wish Willow at the Green Man or continued to stalk it after they kept getting complaints. The sales girl in the beginning says people keep coming back and complaining. Everyone who's opened theirs up because makes you want to die and you wish that you were dead. Blah, 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 such things. So it feels like there are many dumb bitches in that production and sales line involved who should have recognized the potential for disaster here. But it does seem like Bear's wish goes a lot more wrong than the average wish.
Well, what if someone was like, I wish for the nuclear codes? Like, this is dangerous shit.
That is a funny wish.
I wish for the
I guess it's
nuclear
like just
codes.
because you have the codes doesn't mean you have the buttons, but
I wish for the codes and the buttons.
I wish I had a nuke. Yeah.
I wish
I
I had a
wanna
nuke and
be-
could use it. Oh.
I want to be
know
Ultimate
that reminds
Road
me of.
Czar, where Alex and I, our lawyer, always say, like, we want to decide if people are allowed to drive. Like, you do something that upsets us, your license is immediately revoked,
Yeah.
and we get to decide that. Nobody else can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, I would love to get a TV show and see so many more stories of this, which that's one thing I think that you miss a lot in movies is just like it introduces such an interesting concept and you only get one story
Yeah.
of it. That was something we've talked about amongst ourselves with The Substance too. Like it would be very cool to see other people and what their journey with what The
Yeah.
Substance would mean for them and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
And this
No,
is one
that's
of
a good
those ones
one.
where it was like it'd be really cool to
No,
see
that would
it go
be really cool. I
successfully
mean, hey, this
times,
was such a smash
poorly other
success.
times.
It could happen.
It could
So
happen.
it really could happen. Okay, dumb bitch, easy. It's Bear, and so we're moving on to our knives out of fives, and we
Yeah.
know that people are going cuckoo crazy, but how cuckoo crazy for it are they going? What are the
Pretty cuckoo
stats?
crazy girl. Because on IMDb, this movie has an 8.1 out of 10.
So high for IMDb.
And then on Rotten Tomatoes, it has 94% fresh from critics and 94% fresh from audiences as well. It also made crazy, crazy, crazy money. I saw something that estimated that like Michael Blum himself has made like $17 million from this movie. Michael Blum? Jason Blum? Whatever.
Jason. It's
The titular
Jason, I
Blum.
think.
It's not Michael.
Yeah, who's Michael? Michael Bloomberg, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what you're thinking. Oh well.
Also a millionaire. Billionaire, maybe. Who's to say?
Michael Johnston, the star of this movie.
Things are coming together. They're forming one giant monstro man. But what I also wanted to point out in this section is that this movie debuted at the 2025 Toronto International Film Festival, TIFF. And it was nominated for the People's Choice Award for Midnight Madness, which is the award for, or the section for like underground and cult films. And it actually didn't win. It was first runner up. And what did win was Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, which I heard great things about, but I haven't seen. And speaking of The Substance, that was the winner of this category the year before. But because it debuted at TIFF, that's when it was acquired for $14 to $15 million, the highest price commanded by a genre film in TIFF history. That's where they picked it up, and it got like wide distribution by Focus Features. And then it also went to 2026 South by Southwest, where it was nominated for the Audience Award Festival Favorites. It didn't win that one either. But it started this like momentum of people talking about it, people seeing it at these festivals, and then it just so clearly has exploded. It's one of like only 3 movies or something like that that has like continues to make more and more and more the weekends after its initial release. Something like this and E.T. or something like that. It's like it's usually Christmas movies because they have a depressed opening weekend because people are busy, and then it builds once people are free again. It's really rare for your opening weekend to grow the following weekends. But that happened with this film, so it's clearly just like taking on a life of its own. Maybe
awesome.
somebody made a crazy wish.
Whoa. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. This movie traumatized me from the very beginning when a man named Ian, who was like, I love trivia on Wednesdays, and then a dead cat. It hit too close to my own personal home life.
That's too much. That's way too much.
I was like, oh my God. I think I looked over to you and I was like, we are off to a bad start, lady.
Oh, I remember that. Oh, yeah, the cat's name was Sandy. The dead cat. That's my dead mom's name. Can we do something else? Anyway, keep going. Keep going.
But I get why this movie is the 7th like highest grossing film ever. Like, it's so good. I think the people yearn for like new original like franchise. And granted, this can this could spar a franchise, but like it's the first one. It's so it's so fresh. It's from somebody new. It's from, know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
like if
New
anything, I
perspective.
hope that like between this and Backrooms, like, you know, movies like studios will take chances on up and coming directors and like original ideas and all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff because like clearly there's an audience for it. We're right here.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
I'm going to give this movie a 4.5 out of 5.
Nice. That's great. Oh, I want to give it a 5 out of 5, but I don't know if that's too crazy. I've been so generous lately. We saw what I gave Evil Dead Rise. My God, I've lost
You're
control
having
of
a really good day
myself.
that day.
I was having a really good day that day, okay? I was on steroids for the first time in a
She
long
was roided
time.
up, babe.
I was roided up. I felt good. So you know what? We always know that my rating is the least important thing that I say on this podcast because
That's why I say it for the end.
arbitrary. Exactly. Like nobody's listening at this point. I
Mhm.
don't know. I'll give it like a 4.9 because maybe part of one thing could be better. But I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was so good. I don't really have that much more to say. I just think that it's a fantastic film. I think it's really fun. Everyone I know has liked it except for one person, and I don't understand why they didn't like it, and whatever, it's fine. But like I just think it's fun. Okay, this is the point one. I get that they were going for an ambiguous, like you can't see it. You can't see totally what's happening, and so your nightmares are worse than anything we could put on screen thing with the cinematography. That's like almost an exact quote from the cinematographer. He was like really trying to keep things like dark and sparse and like have a vibe similar to Seven, actually, he said. An oppressive atmosphere like in Seven was what he was going for, and I think he did nail that because it was oppressive as shit. But a little too dark at times, and I think it's falling into that modern movie things where it's so dark you can't see anything at all, and I get that that's like what he was going for, but I just
It's still annoying.
yearn to be able to watch a horror movie during the day. I yearn for that, and it's literally an impossible movie to watch in the day. I had to like black out curtains, everything to watch this movie. So I just that's my one. That's my one qualm. But it's a great, great film, and I can't wait for more from Curry very soon.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on a lot of that. I really liked this movie the first time I saw it. The second time I saw it, I still liked it, but I was kind of like counting the minutes a little bit. But then the third time I saw it, I was like, I'm back in, baby. And then when I was watching it today, I was like I said, I was like writing down every single thing because I was like, this is important. I need to be able to reference this because look how well done this is, blah, blah, blah. Um, I do have, it's not necessarily a criticism. It's like a cautionary, not tale, but like warning. Um, I think it would be so great if the success of this film meant that studios took more risks on new filmmakers and new storytellers and small projects and fresh ideas instead of going back to the same rechurn of old ideas and IP. Um, but one of the dialogues that has come out about this movie is how it was made for so cheaply and it has made so much money, and all of that money is being made by the studio that acquired it and by the producers who came on board after it was made, basically, and the money is not filtering back down to the actual people who worked on the
Mhm.
film. And I've there's was like one article from Variety being like, this is actually a lesson on how Hollywood can make cheap movies if you just do everything non-union. And it's like, maybe that should not be the takeaway.
That should
wouldn't it
not be
be
the
so
takeaway.
wouldn't it be so beautiful if the takeaway was like, okay, take a risk on an indie film, but like give points on the back end to the people who make it. That way, if it doesn't make money, you're only paying them what you've already agreed to pay them, the rate that they've accepted. But if it makes millions and millions and millions of dollars, people who were willing to scrap and save to be part of something cool actually get to see like a payoff for their hard work. They're the ones that did the hard work. I would love if this movie could be part of like reform of the way that we treat artists going forward.
Yeah.
I doubt that will be the case.
But what? It's
But
good to dream.
yeah, it's good to dream. Regardless, it's been very cool to become so much more familiar with so many people who worked on this project. Blair James, the costume designer, has been making like TikToks about all kinds of different outfits and stuff for the movie. She talked about a lot of cool details. It's just so obvious that a lot of heart and thought and hard work went into this movie. There's like in the trivia scene, Sarah wears a rose quartz necklace. They say at another point, like, oh, rose quartz attracts love. So it's again one of the details of like, she was always right there, waiting for Bear, trying to attract him. Like, there's so many little things like that. So I just think it is really well made. I send up a prayer to the movie gods that everybody who worked on this film will see the rewards of their efforts
Yeah,
one day.
I agree.
But in the meantime, I'll go there. Like I said, I have some concerns about it existing in a vacuum where I think it's could have been a little more fleshed out. But I think sometimes you lose that for style points and you lose that for substance. And this is a really well constructed, interesting story. So I'll give it 5 knives.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Good. Deserves it. It
I
totally
just
deserves it.
I thought it was great. I thought it was so fun. I thought it was a great theater experience every single time, packed every single time, no matter how many weeks it had been out when I went.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that closes the book on obsession, but what do we got coming up next, Cheeto?
Yes, next we have another new release, a movie called Leviticus. We wanted to cover it for Pride way back in the day when we first heard about it, and then we narrowed our scope when we decided to do Trans Pride, which was so beautiful. We had so much fun, but now it is finally time to get this movie on our schedule. It is a queer horror movie. I've already seen it. I had a great time. I have so many thoughts already where I'm like, I'm ready to discuss this with you guys. So I can't wait to come back next week and really dig into that.
Yay, I cannot wait to see it. So this will be so fun. I heard that it's emotional. So bring your tissues and like, I don't know. I was going to say a diaper because it's scary too. So I don't know why. I don't know why. I
Is
don't
the
know. You
pissing
could
pooping
cry
in this
and
movie?
pee your pants at the same time. Anyway, I'm sorry I said it and I wish I hadn't. And anyway, why not give us a 5-star review? Say, wow, I'm so obsession with you. I am so obsessed with this podcast and it's so good. Also, shout out to all the people who are commenting on our Spotify lately. A lot of Spotify, except for that one guy. But everybody else, love you, love you. We're getting some fun responses in there, and we will be replying. I'm sorry, I just like usually we don't get a lot of comments on there, and then all of a sudden there are like 10, and I was like, whoa. So
I
be
hope you
back
saw that
soon.
there was support in there for a Cinderella story.
I saw that. I saw that. Oh man. Anyway, but also follow us on social media. We're at spooky_Tuesday on pretty much everything except for Facebook and Tumblr, where we're at Spooky Tuesday Pod. Check out our website, spookytuesdaypod.com. That's your one-stop shop for everything. And at the time of our recording, by the way, it's not the end of June yet, so we don't know how much we're donating to all of our trans pride causes, but we will tell you as soon as we know. So keep your eye out for that. And join our Patreon while you can. That made it sound like it is going to not exist anymore, but I'm just trying to
No
create a
plans for that.
scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
A scarcity mindset. While you still can you get in there? No, you're gonna be fine, but you should join. It's really fun. We're having a great time in there. And also,
But
we're
danger
on
lurks.
youth. Danger lurks. You never know. Around any bend, something could be happening. Anyway, we're also on YouTube, and today we are dressed as well. Myself, I am Freaky Nikki, herself in the party scene because I have this shirt that's very similar to her shirt. I did have curtain bangs, but my hair said "fuck you," and over the course of the last 2 hours has reverted back to front bangs. But here's my frowny. That was better. That was better.
Proud of
Chelsea,
you.
thank you.
And I am Party Ian, and I just really respect his backwards hat life. And I saw his sweater vest, and I went, I've got basically almost that exact same sweater vest. So, but it's hard to
You
find a white
should.
T-shirt that still had sleeves on it. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
That tracks.
You should be a butch, maybe. I think you look hot like this. Just
Thank
saying. I was
you.
singing it the whole time.
Hey,
Yeah. It's something to
mamas.
consider. Oh, Jesus Christ. Now I don't
You
like
like
it
that?
anymore.
You like that?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
And I'm the customer asking for that song.
Yay. She's the
She's like,
Karen
I need
that
March
they
of the
referred to.
Penguins.
I need March of the Penguins.
Thank
That's
God.
a movie, I think.
Anyway,
Whatever.
you can only see that on our YouTube, so subscribe. Make us like we could be YouTube famous, and then maybe we'll make a movie one day.
Whoa. Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
Whoa.
Crazy.
But only if you subscribe. So it's all it lies in your hands. It's a lot of pressure, actually. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye, spookies.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Haidt, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Great18. That's GR818_. And our podcast art is by Ryan Brom, who you can follow on Instagram at Ryan Brom Art. That's RyanBrommArt. Learn more about Spooky Tuesday at spookytuesdaypod.com and subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/spooky_Tuesday.